behind us. So many. And some of them are really recently born as well. You can still see them umbilical cords. So small. Yeah. Those babies are absolutely adorable.
Hidden all around the world are places we've abandoned. But these ruins don't always lie empty. I'm wildlife filmmaker Dan O'Neill, and with my zoologist mate Yussef Rafik, I'm on a mission to see what moves in after we've gone.
Here we are at Inchkeith Island.
It is amazing.
It does look stunning. Tell you what, I'm finding my sea legs on this boat as well.
I know, I feel like I'm about to throw up.
Inchkeith lies abandoned only 3 miles off the coast of Scotland's capital city. Surrounded by the cold waters of the Firth of Forth, this privately owned island is a maze of ruined buildings and rocky cliffs that have seen both plague and war.
Your butt is right in my face right now.
Ooh, nearly slipped.
You almost kicked me in the face.
Wow.
That would have been a bad start to the day.
Say goodbye to the boat.
There it goes. Our last chance at freedom. Goodbye. Look at that. Bird fur. It's a good intro to the island.
Yeah.
Welcome to the island of death. Oh, we're going to be here all day. I really hope I don't leave my foot behind.
Parts of the island, including derelict buildings and underfoot conditions, may be dangerous.
Oh, brilliant. That's what I like to hear. Is this
Shall
the
we?
gate?
I think this is the only gate we've got.
It feels like we're breaking in. I promise we do have permission to be here though. But
We might have permission to be here, but Inchkeith's military defences have been stopping people getting onto the island for more than 500 years. Fortified again and again until the end of World War II, its walls once bristled with guns. But they fell silent decades ago.
up we go.
So eerie, isn't it?
Very eerie and creepy. There's so many bones littered around as well that I'm feeling like I'm just crunching them
Yeah, you are, I can hear it.
every step I take.
Check this out. This would have had a massive machine gun in it.
Oh wow, that's a huge pit.
That's cool, right?
Must have been a huge machine gun.
Yeah. Whoa. And look at
Wow.
this. Gives good reference to where we are.
Scotland. How mad is it that literally just over there, across the sea, are thousands of people living their lives, and here we are on an island not that far away, that's just completely derelict and abandoned.
When this
Pretty strong. I just saved your life.
Maybe we should
You
stand a
only
bit
one.
down.
Let's go down to safety.
It's amazing, right, standing up there, how strong the wind is,
Yeah.
and then coming in here, it's so much more chilled.
more sheltered as
And
well.
there's literally only a few places on this whole island that you would ever get a tree. If,
Yeah.
if there were none of these abandoned buildings, abandoned structures, you wouldn't get things like this. But this is an elder tree.
And it's not just the elder, of course. We've got stinging nettles here. We've got this stuff, which is burdock, and this stuff is really cool. You can see how it's covered in these little hooks.
Oh,
You feel that? So that they basically attach to any material. So bird feathers, my shoelaces. I've got some there.
Oh
look.
my god, look at this.
And there we go. They actually inspired Velcro.
Oh
So
really?
those little hooks, they got hooks on the end. And this is a method of seed dispersal. So in those pods are loads of seeds, and then when they stick to the bird's feathers, you can be the bird. They'll fly away, carry it with them. They'll drop off and disperse somewhere else.
Oh, that's so cool.
This type of seed dispersal is helping plants recolonise Inchkeith. And they're not alone. Some big animals are moving in. A handful of grey seals began giving birth here in 2000, but now nearly 500 pups are born every year on the island.
Behind us, so many. And some of them are really recently born as well. You can still see them umbilical cords. So small, but we've got to be really careful, obviously, because we don't want to disturb them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of mums around, there's a lot of babies. But luckily, we've got this thing.
This 19th century pillbox with these slits is literally the perfect height. Yeah. And those males making that call behind. Yeah. I reckon if we go in there, we might be able to get to the shoulder.
Let's go in. It's ideal, isn't it?
It's so cool.
Almost as if they made this for Dan and Yussef 200 years ago. One of my favourite facts about these guys is their Latin name, their scientific name, means hook-nosed sea pig.
Oh really?
You can kind of see that, they've got that hook nose.
Definitely, yeah.
You can still see the umbilical cord on that one as well. So with there being so many pups and mothers on the beach, one behaviour in particular that we're seeing a lot of is suckling. And this is a really important stage in a young seal's life. It's essentially make or break and determines whether it will survive. Because that milk is high in fat, is super important because a grey seal pup can put on up to 30 kilograms in just 2 weeks, all from that milk. So it's really, really important, and it needs to put on that blubber in order to survive. The mothers will lactate and the pups will suckle for about a month or so after birth, and then the mothers will just completely abandon the pups, and they are essentially left to fend for themselves, which must be pretty tough on the young pups, and not all of them make it, sadly.
Seal pups aren't the only animals being born on Inchkeith nowadays. It's fast becoming an important sanctuary for nesting seabirds. But before the 1940s, there was only one seafaring bird thought to nest here, and it still calls Inchkeith home.
Just in front of us here is an eider duck. They're really, really big actually. They are our heaviest and our fastest flying duck. They're also true sea ducks, so they absolutely love being out here in the ocean, and that's partly because one of their favourite foods is mussels. And what they'll do is they'll go down and they'll catch them, and they'll swallow them whole down into their gizzard, and then they'll crush them down in there and then regurgitate up the solid parts and eat the soft parts. But they're absolutely gorgeous birds.
Those babies are absolutely adorable. In order to plump themselves up and put on all that weight, the cubs will drink up to 2.5 litres of that super high fat milk every single day. Now, although all these seals probably look the same to you, especially the pups, which are just this white colour, the seals can actually determine individuals pretty well. They use scent and they use sound, so those calls, they can determine their own pups. And this is important because they don't want to suckle the wrong pups, because that milk is super precious, so they only want to give it to their own offspring. And you might actually see, we've seen a couple of behaviours earlier where a mother seal is slapping away another pup, which is pretty cruel, but in the fight of survival, it's a necessary evil.
Just down here, we've got a big flock of shags. But one of the coolest things about these birds is they can dive to 45 metres looking for their food. They're kind of benthic feeders. They feed right down at the bottom of the ocean, and they love things like sand eels. It's one of their favourite foods. And unfortunately, sand eels have been declining so much in recent years.
This is thought to be linked to climate change, but that isn't the only threat the island's birds are facing. To help us understand the challenges, I want to head to the other side of the island to look for clues in the nest colonies.
Well, we're back again.
Yep.
Back on the island.
Before we get to the seabird cliffs, I want to make a quick detour to see the old military barracks, which have become like miniature forests. But we're not the only ones here.
It's gone, it's gone. We've spotted the owl, we've spotted the owl. Let's go.
It was round
Okay,
here.
it was round here.
I literally just saw it flash straight past me and go out the window.
It just looked like a brown, oh my God, here we go, here we go. Look at these. Oh, there's loads of it. So some's pretty fresh, some's a bit older.
That's a pellet, right?
That's a pellet, here you go, take that.
Oh my God, so this is quite an old one, so this is probably our owl's home. Oh yeah. Look at this.
So I've got a bit of a fresher one here, this is a wet one. So this may look like poo, but this is obviously a pellet, which is the regurgitated leftovers of what the owl couldn't digest.
The owls have a crop here, and it all goes down in there.
Yeah.
That visceral mass in there just breaks it all down, and then they regurgitate up all the messy bits.
But as a biologist, this stuff is great because we can see what they've been eating.
Yeah, really useful for diet. Should we break them out over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can already see a little bone there. Oh, here we go. Look at this.
What's that?
Bit of jaw. So you can see,
Sure,
we'll
that's
clean it
definitely a
out.
mouse.
That's definitely a mouse.
Yeah.
You can see those tiny teeth and those, I mean, they're still pretty tiny, but the bigger classic rodent front teeth that just continue to grow and get worn down.
And you can see for certain, like check on the side of this one.
Yeah,
It's that classic
exactly.
darker grey and then brown overtone. That's a mouse right
Yeah,
there.
mouse. So we know it's been eating a mouse.
Long-eared owls, like the one we saw, are unique because of the elongated head feathers known as ear tufts, which they raise whenever they're alarmed. They usually prefer to live in dense thickets of woodland, but the small trees and shrubs grown inside the barracks seems to be giving this owl all the cover it needs.
Absolute proof that it was here.
Beautiful feather.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, right?
Beautiful.
Long-eared owl, do you want to keep it?
I will, yes, thank you.
There you go.
Stick
Oh,
on
that's
that.
right. Oh, beautiful.
Let's go.
Walking around here is like walking into dinosaur nests. This is a mixed colony here. This is a cormorant's nest. But it's really sad because this is a completely abandoned island. There's no one here, but this nest is absolutely chock-a-block full of plastic and wiring, and these white ones here, they get caught around the legs of chicks and adults and can really cause them a lot of problems. There's a lot of dead birds around here, and some of them will have died naturally, but some will have plastic problems, not just on their outside, but also on their inside. And that's one of the really big problems here. There's over 100 different still operational and disused waste sites with plastic falling off into the ocean, being picked up by birds like this. And scientists are currently studying birds like cormorants and other seabirds in this area for how they've accumulated the toxic chemicals coming out of plastic. They're fantastic indicators of what the ecosystem is showing in terms of pollution. And it's such a shame because these are really, really important breeding sites for loads of different threatened birds. And it just shows how much of a problem we're causing for these environments. But here on an abandoned island, we're still not escaping from the problems that we're causing.
So we've made it down to the beach in the hope of doing some rock pooling, hence these props that look like they came from a 5-year-old. But I can already see some rock pools, so hopefully we're going to have some luck with that. But the first thing that hits me when I come down to this beach is just the sheer amount of litter, the plastic pollution around. I mean, we've got all types of bottles, we've got some old flip-flops, I saw a toothbrush back there, and it's just, considering this place, this island is such a valuable spot for both seabirds and seals and loads of other wildlife, it's really quite shocking just to see how much litter there is laying around here. Okay, check this out. So this rusty thing right here is the shell of a contact mine, and that really brings us back to the purpose of this island being used for military for all these years. I'm not going to get too close to it, I think it's pretty safe, but we're going to move on.
I thought this was a pellet that's been regurgitated, and I don't know if it was regurgitated, but this is a really dense piece of tin foil, the exact kind of thing a bird would see glinting and thinking it might be a fish. Really could easily be eaten by a chick. So sad to think, isn't it? That a parent picks this up, thinks that it's got something for its chick to eat, takes it back to the nest. There's a lot of energy that goes into that. They could be out there for hours searching for food, and they brought this back. And they think it's going to feed their chick up, but it's actually doing the exact opposite. It's filling them up with stuff that's going to end up killing them. Really sad.
Okay, so this looks like a pretty good rock pool. But rock pools, although I can already see a fair bit of nature around here, rock pools are very harsh environments, not the easiest place to survive in. They are massively exposed, you've got the wind coming in. They're also obviously constantly changing because the tide's coming in and out, but they do make their own little worlds and little havens for lots of species that are ideal for this kind of habitat. Okay. So I just clambered over all those rocks because I spotted something very cool in the water, just peeking through there. So finally going to get to use this very cool net to fish it out. So what we have here, hold on. Okay, it's quite light, so I think unfortunately it's just the shell. Yeah, it is. But what we have here is a dog whelk, and this is a snail-like mollusk that lives here in the rock pools, typically lower down on the shore, wherever its favourite food live. And its favourite food are barnacles and mussels. And so this is a top predator. It's a hunter. What it will do is it will drill a hole, it will bore a little hole into the shells of those barnacles and mussels. It will inject this enzyme deep into the body, which will sort of digest it for it and turn it into a liquid soup. And then it has this tube structure thing called a proboscis, which it uses to suck out all that liquid soup. Pretty grim for the barnacles and mussels, but quite a cool little animal.
The weather takes a turn, so we're heading to the closest Victorian fort. There are 3 on the island, and the labyrinth of passageways within has been left pretty much undisturbed since the military dismantled their operations here. And if there's anything I've learnt from our explorations, it's that abandoned places don't stay uninhabited for long.
Oh, come on.
Is this the tunnel?
I don't want to go in there. There's a lot of snails.
There's a lot of snails already.
A lot of snails.
There's a lot of empty snail shells on the ground as well.
Yeah, what eats the snails in tunnels?
We will find out, hopefully. Okay.
Oh my God!
Wow. This is insane. So this is what I was hoping we would find. I didn't think we'd find quite this many. So these are cave spiders, European cave spiders. And these lovely, fluffy things dangling from the ceiling you can see are their egg sacs. Okay, this is a little bit scary now.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Guess what? We came at just the right time of year for the egg sacs because they lay these sacs between September and February. So
Oh, just in
perfect.
time.
But it's like we timed it perfectly.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh no, it's quite.
Oh God! No, go on,
It's your
mate.
reactions. Okay, you calm down.
Do it with confidence.
You do it with confidence. It's your lack of confidence that's giving me heebie-jeebies. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Look at that beautiful, beautiful spider. So this is a European cave spider.
Does it not scare you? That's going to bite you.
It terrifies me, so stop reminding me. But so these, hence the name, live in caves, and it turns out also old Victorian tunnels. They are actually very beautiful. This explains why we've been seeing all those empty snail shells, yeah, because that makes that part of their diet.
So spiders like this would hunt snails?
They hunt snails, slugs, hibernating moths that you quite often find in places
That
like
would
this
hunt
as well.
a fully grown snail?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
mad. Feeling a bit more docile right now.
It is, it's calming down
Look
a
at
bit.
that silk coming
I
out
was
of
just
the back
about to
of
say,
it.
you can see that silk, and you know what? Scientists recently have discovered that this silk from the European cave spider is actually one of the most elastic silks in the animal kingdom.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh, amazing. Look at
really
that, yeah,
cool.
it's coming off there. Yeah.
okay,
Do you want to put this one back?
we'll pop them back.
I've got to admit that it's incredible that even the old forts here have become spider caves. Every building is transforming into its own habitat, and if you replicate that across the island, there's a whole new ecosystem in action here.
These places that typically people think are not useful, brownfield sites, so much value for wildlife, and more than you'd ever expect. I think I've seen more animals doing this than I've ever seen in the
I
world.
know, it's mad. We're so lucky.
Yeah.
Anyway, we better get off this island because I don't think the boat's going to hang around for long. So, let's head out. And the seals have just said goodbye.
Yeah, they're telling us to leave actually, mate.
All right, let's go. Let's go home.
Once we're back on the boat, the animals will have this entire island to themselves again. It's been amazing to see how wildlife can return, even in the most unexpected places. We made the buildings on this island for war, but the animals, the seals, the seabirds and even the spiders are putting them to a different use. Inchkeith might have been abandoned by us, but it's being reclaimed by them.
I mean, I would rather the rope was still intact, so I'm going to be honest.
Where's your sense of adventure, Yussef?
My sense of adventure.
Come on, off the beaten track.
My sense of adventure is down there, right at the bottom where it's safe.
We're heading to Wales to explore the biggest abandoned site we've tackled yet. More than 700 acres of slate landscape, filled with abandoned quarries and derelict buildings that are creating new kinds of habitat.
So this is the Vivian Quarry. You see that dolly there with the cart on top of it? That would have been used to drag materials across the quarry. And it looks like it's not that high off the ground right now, but this water didn't used to be here. This has come in through natural springs and basically runoff, but it's 18 meters deep now. And all the stuff down below is still there. So there's buildings, there's houses, there's machinery, all still left abandoned underneath. Here, you're seeing some trees. And this type of habitat, this slate, is really, really slow to colonize. There's very little nutrients in there. And so trees take a huge amount of time to take hold. But one of the first ones that will do is birch. And you can see one right there.
For decades now, nature has been slowly reclaiming this quarry, and what was once a grey, barren wasteland is now showing signs of life.
He's in the tree. Okay. Where are you, Mr. Owl? Oh my God, hello, look. Oh my God, there it is. It's a tawny owl. In the middle of the day, in an old abandoned slate quarry. Such a wise and dignified animal. Just like other nocturnal owls, like the barn owl, they have ears on different levels on their head. They're slightly asymmetrical, which allows them to pinpoint exactly where sounds are coming from. And at night, which I typically would imagine seeing this bird in, that allows them to stop using their eyes and to rely on their hearing to pinpoint exactly where something like a little vole, a mouse might be. They have this slightly curled over feathers that are serrated, and that means that when they're flying through the air, they're completely silent. And it means that they can use that sound still and not make any sound to scare their prey. What a wicked thing to find. And I think, well, this has just given me a lot of hope, because one of the things that I really want to see here is the fastest animal in the world, the peregrine falcon.
This place might make for a good wildlife habitat now, but it was a different world not long ago. The slate industry dominated the whole of this area until the 60s, when even the biggest quarries shut their gates, leaving all this behind.
Wow.
The forest all around me is now a site of special scientific interest. It's what's known as a Celtic rainforest, and it's one of the rarest habitats in the world. Forests like this one are thought to be even more threatened than tropical rainforests. But in these woodlands, you're never more than a step away from the past.
Right, so this is the powder house, and first of all we've got the door, which you wouldn't really know was a door because every time they use this building they would brick it back up again. So this is the main part of the building that contained the gunpowder inside here, and then we've got the outer wall here, which just acts as a secondary barrier. But yeah, you can really see how much effort they went into in ensuring that any disaster that did happen would be contained right here. You can see there's some orb weaver spiders. You've actually got two here, got a male and a female. I think they might be having a little bit of sexy time. You can see the female is that chunkier one on the right, bigger abdomen, and the male is really going at it, and I think this is a successful mating. It looks pretty aggressive. Sometimes it can go either way, so sometimes the male will become dinner. He will transfer a sperm web essentially over to her, and they'll do that using those pedipalps at the front of their bodies. The fact that this is happening in the middle of the powder house is pretty weird, but it shows that it's now perfect habitat for so many bits of wildlife. And all these walls make great support systems for their web. But I think we had better leave them to it, let them do their thing.
Just coming into a little crevice here as part of the old quarry, a big bar of slate there. And it's created this tiny little microclimate that is living up to that name of being a proper Celtic rainforest in here. And I think one of the main reasons it feels like that is that these forests in the UK and Ireland are one of the most important places in the entire world for the diversity of the bryophytes, liverworts, hornworts and mosses. These colonise and they set the ground for everything else to come forward. Amazing. Look at that. You can hear that water. It really sounds like we could be here. A tiger could just walk past.
There might not be any tigers, but there is one big mammal that has made itself at home. To find it, we're going to go to what's left of the Dinorwic slate quarry. The closer we get, the more we see traces of the workers who used to make this climb every day.
Incredible, isn't it? They're so uniform and like organised all in a row. And actually, they're really small.
It would have been 4 men to a house, with no running water and only a small coal fire for cooking and heating. These barracks were closed down in 1948, so other than the stone walls, all that's left now is the view.
What a beautiful place to end the day. The amount of slate they must have got out of this mountain. Explosions were used and now it's been abandoned, but now we have this explosion of wildlife.
I mean, it's very beautiful. That's the cheesiest line I've ever heard, Yussef.
I thought it was poetry.
I can't wait to come back tomorrow and
Yeah.
go higher up.
Today, we're going up the steep sides of Dinorwic, once the second largest slate quarry in the world. It was left empty in 1969, but one resident never moved out from its rocky home, and they now have the entire place to themselves.
Look, you can see the males here.
Those horns are incredible.
Yeah, they look like ibex, don't they?
They do, yeah.
When did they first arrive?
Neolithic times, so like 10,000 years ago. So they really are relics of the environment. So
Yeah.
they were here before the slate quarry.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. It's currently just at the end of the rutting season, so towards the end of their breeding season. And what happens is the males will do this fantastic display where they will bump heads essentially at force, lock those horns, and fight for the right to mate with the females. Another cool thing is they have what's called a phlegm response, and what this is a really weird behaviour where the males will sort of flap their upper lip a little bit to detect when a female is in season, and they have a special organ inside their mouths called a Jacobson's organ. What this does is it picks up pheromones. They're such incredibly agile animals. Like, it's incredible that this used to be a quarry, a very sort of man-made environment. Yet these guys it's just perfect for them. That one is so majestic looking. He is the king of the mountain. Look at him. Look, there we go. The phlegm response. He's at it again. He's not done for the breeding season. Wow. Such a weird face that they pull.
The goats clearly feel right at home in what's left of these buildings. Slowly but surely, the plants are beginning to reclaim this quarry, and the empty workshops are gaining new inhabitants.
Wow. This
Wow.
place is huge.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Incredible. Imagine what it would have looked like with the roof on as well.
So this is the old sawmill,
Yeah.
where they would have cut all of the slate.
Yeah, processed all the slate. And then they would ship that out all over the world, literally all over the world, to places like New York. And these bits here are where the columns would have been to support that huge roof.
Yeah.
So let's just land on the wall.
Look at that.
Wow.
Wait for him.
Wait for it to land. Okay.
He's in there somewhere.
There.
Okay,
You got it?
I don't want to hold him. Where is he? Okay, I got him.
Okay. Beautiful. So green tiger beetle. They can fly really well.
So these guys, as you can see from these huge mandibles, are ferocious predators. They'll hunt things like caterpillars, spiders, ants, and what they'll do is lay their eggs in sandy burrows, and the larvae will hatch out into those, and then they become ambush predators.
And one of the fastest insects in Britain,
Yeah,
60 centimetres per second.
beautiful.
God, he's been real still right
Yeah,
now.
he calms down on you, doesn't he?
Which way are we going?
Going up here. Got to get to the top if we're going to find a peregrine, my friend.
Oh, okay. The top looks very high up.
Yeah,
Is there like a cable car
it'll be good for you.
or maybe a helicopter that can come and pick us up?
Oh my God. Nothing good was ever easy, Yussef.
True.
Check this out. You see that up there? You see the little hut?
Oh yeah,
Those are blast shelters. So when they were using the explosives, people would run in there when the sirens went off, when the mountain sort of blew up on the side.
And they had like 3 minutes, was it, to get inside the blast shower?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Hey, Yussef,
Yeah.
come and check this out.
What have you got? Have you found a wall?
I found something very, very cool. There's a lot of species of moss in the UK. Well, there's a few species of moss in the UK that have this amazing adaptation to completely desiccate in the dry, right?
Okay.
And it looks totally dead, right?
Well, this?
Yeah, you'd assume that'd be dead.
Yeah.
But
You're building
But
up
watch
tension.
this when water hits it. You seeing that?
Oh my God.
Check that, right?
It's changing colour, it's going green.
Yeah, so that right
Wow.
there, when those cells that have completely dried out and completely desiccated come into contact with water, they immediately activate and the chlorophyll activates inside and immediately comes back and starts photosynthesizing, bringing them back to life. An incredible drought-resistant plant.
That's amazing how quickly they do that.
Amazing, right? And it's
Revive
really
them.
coming back, really coming back, a matter of seconds, and it's perfectly adapted to these kind of stark habitats. Do you know what this is?
It looks like a rope.
Yeah, this is the metal rope that would have once held all of this on the side and stopped people from falling off.
Oh dear, and we've got to go up there.
Yeah, how does that make you feel?
I mean, I would rather the rope was still intact, I'm going to be honest.
Where's your sense of adventure, Yussef?
My sense of adventure.
Come on, off the beaten track.
My sense of adventure is down there, right at the bottom where it's safe. My thighs are starting to burn.
Shame we're only halfway up. There are about 20 different levels on each side of Dinorwic, and we're heading to one of the highest.
Turns out there's a lot of steps, and mountains are quite hard to climb. I'm just going to die right here.
How you feeling, mate?
Great, yeah. Yeah, I feel really,
Ready for round two?
Lovely.
The higher we go, the more the habitat changes. We start finding alpine plants, many that are relics of the last ice age.
And I'm sinking into the ground. Goodbye. Oh my God. Okay, out we get. There we go. Lovely. Wow. Nice one. I think we're here. This is Australia Plain.
Welcome to Australia. This is lovely.
I love how they named them, like New York, California, depending on how high up they are.
So we've gone to the furthest one in Australia. Imagine what this would have looked like before the slate mining.
God, we do make a mess of things, don't we? Where are we heading now?
We are going to a very special place. So this is we'll
That
find
sounds very
out.
ominous.
So this building here, we'll find out what they used it for.
Oh God,
Let
that
the
sounds even
suspense
worse.
build up.
I'm not sure I want to find out.
This building here, this huge building, is where they would have cut the slate. So this is where they would have done all the sawing. You can see all the machines. And if you actually look beneath our feet here, look, we've got the rail line.
Oh wow, so like the slates collected all the way down there, goes all the way down on this train car, all piled up, and they would just grab them and cut them.
And it's all the original stuff. You can actually see some of the saws here, the blades. So that's what they would have used to cut the slate. They would have used this to cut it into the rectangles, and then they would have done it. They would have used a chisel and a mallet to split it by hand. Are you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, you're going to cut me in half.
No, I'm not, because you'll probably sue me. But you can imagine what the working conditions would have been like in here. I mean, right now there's no roofs; it's quite open air. You can imagine it would have been very enclosed. The sounds, the noises, the smells, the dust in the air.
You've got some lichens forming.
You've got life even in this abandoned building. Lichen is like in the iron. What's that?
That was terrible.
I know it was terrible and it will get cut, but I had to say it.
If it wasn't on the skyline, there is absolutely no way you would be able to see that. But it's undeniable, that is a peregrine falcon. That's the fastest animal in the world. Peregrine falcon. And their eyesight is absolutely brilliant, at least 8 times as good as ours.
Peregrines like to attack from above, so they use the thermals to position themselves on top of their prey. And then they fold their wings back and get this incredibly aerodynamic form before plummeting down, making them the fastest animal in the world, travelling at speeds of more than 300 kilometres per hour.
Anything moving that quickly would have huge amounts of air firing straight in, and her nostrils here, if the air was travelling super fast and she had no way to manage it, she would get all that air straight into her lungs and they would explode. But peregrine falcons, like all falcons, have these incredible conical structures called baffles inside their nasal cavities that basically allow that airflow to be limited so that they can travel at that speed. And amazing use of biomimicry. We have used that exact same mechanism and adapted it for our fighter pilots, which also fly in these valleys. So it's pretty cool to see the beginning and the end result of something that we've brought from nature. With such an incredible bird.
The sun is starting to set, so we're heading back before it gets too dark to make it down the steps. But we do have one more stop to make before we go, a cabana.
Look at this, there's still just things from the past.
It's really impactful. Got like a
Oh my God, look at
frying
this.
pan.
That's a boot.
A boot.
That's someone's actual boot. And old teapots.
Yeah, because although this is like historic, it wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. Like there are still people living today that would have worked here, and relatives of those people.
It's crazy to think. And you'd think that when these places go into disrepair, disuse, no one uses them anymore, they become kind of obsolete and unimportant. But this has now been turned literally a few weeks ago into a World Heritage Site with the same, you know, standing as the Taj Mahal, the Great Pyramids, because of its value.
I think it's deserving.
Well, on to the next.
On to the next one. What an incredible place.
Yeah, amazing place.
When you think about all the generations of people who built this place, as well as the number of different habitats it contains, it feels fitting that this is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. For me, it's a recognition that abandoned places like this matter to wildlife, but also to us.
Yes! I can't believe how lucky we are.
An owl has just flown over and landed. Literally right in the tree above us.
For this investigation, we're exploring the biggest abandoned coal mine site in the UK, Chatterley, Whitfield.
It looks very apocalyptic.
Yeah, it wouldn't be out of place in a zombie apocalypse film, would it?
Wouldn't at all.
Feels like it'd be very easy to die here.
That thing is incredible though.
Yeah.
And that's the main headgear that brought up all that coal. And over its lifetime, it brought up 24 million tonnes of coal.
I can't even like fathom that working and this place being like full of people.
More than 4,000 miners worked here every day by the 1920s, in some of the deepest pits in the UK. Under our feet is the Hesketh shaft, which is 8 times deeper than this chimney is tall. But it's been about 45 years since coal was mined here, and as people moved out, other things moved in.
That's cool.
Bird on top of that.
You've got the binoculars. Is it a magpie?
It's a piece of metal.
Well, that's embarrassing for both of us.
I mean, these places are amazing for birds of prey because you see these like broken windows, old bits of like iron, really tall structures, especially like the chimney, perfect vantage points for falcons, hawks, owls to sit. There's a bunch of crows up there already. I just hope we get to see them because the weather's not ideal, which means this will be a bit of a treasure hunt. Okay, I'm almost certain that over there is a tiny, tiny owl. And if it is a tiny owl, it could be a little owl. And I've never seen one of those before. So I think we should set up the hide just over there in front of this building because it's flown into this tiny little hole at the end of this building here, and fingers crossed if we do that, we might see it really close up.
While I settle down with my camera, Yussef is off exploring.
Oh wow, okay, so we've got an old mine cart here, and this would have been used to transport the coal and dirt around the mines. But over here, we've got what's known as a man rider. So this would have been used to transport the men underground along those tracks, and it looks pretty cramped, so you can just imagine what the conditions would have been like. But it's quite cool to see one because most of them were actually left underground because it just wasn't economically viable to bring them all back up. And these things would have been powered by a battery, but before that they would use ponies to pull these carts along. So that's an incredible fact, to be honest, that they actually had ponies underground working. And they had special stables that they kept these ponies in, and sadly they only actually used to bring them up once a year for an annual holiday.
Here we are in the hide, but now we just play the waiting game because little owls are by far our smallest owl, and they only stand at 20 centimetres tall. But even being 20 centimetres tall, you wouldn't believe this, but apparently anecdotal evidence of people saying that they can catch rabbits, and that will be because they have incredibly strong tarsal bones. Their grip bones are really, really powerful for such a tiny little bird. I mean, one thing that we do have on our side is, unlike many other species of owl, little owls do actually come out in the day. Come on, little owl.
So up there, grown out of the side of the building, is a buddleia plant, also known as the butterfly bush. Gets the name because butterflies absolutely love it. And I've actually spotted quite a few around the site. And during the summer, you can actually see a few of those purple flowers. During the summer there'll be a lot more, and I imagine this place is absolutely teeming with butterflies. You can also see in that third window there's a green chair, and that chair is where the operator would have sat, but that chair hasn't been moved since the 1970s when this place closed down. I'm actually really enjoying myself out here. Look at that, we've got a sunflower growing out of the roof. Such a weird place to see a sunflower.
This is what you have to expect when sitting in a hide and filming with a long lens. It can take a really long time.
Wow, so this beautiful pink plant right here is called a rose bay willow herb. And these are actually really cool because they're one of the first plants to colonise a disturbed area. So in a place like this, a brownfield site. Their other name is the bombweed. During the wars, during the Blitz, when those bomb craters were created, it kind of scarred the landscape. But these guys, being so effective at colonising areas like that, really took over. And yeah, that's how they got the name bombweed.
Oh. I think he's coming out. He's coming out. Oh my God. Oh. Yes. There you go. Little owl has just come out. He's so small. I reckon there's probably a pair in there. That's their little roosting hole. These guys mate for life. So, this is probably their spot, their dominion here. And they're very territorial, so he's now just coming out to sit there and make sure that no one else comes along while they get ready to hunt for small invertebrates. But that is just awesome. But I bet loads of people don't even know that we have little owls. They're so shy. And even though they're not a native species, they came to the UK a couple hundred years ago. I'm really chuffed that we get to have them now. So adorable. And he's going back in. Who would have thought in an abandoned coal mine we would have an animal like that?
It's clear that the buildings of this industrial ghost town have become a safe space for wildlife. Out of 134 buildings, only 34 are still standing. Some of these are literally falling apart, but this huge workshop at the heart of the site managed to survive. And today, we're being given access to this off-limits space.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
This place is insane.
Oh, look at this, Dan. Yeah, this is definitely fox.
Is that fox poo?
Yeah. So you can see like the seeds from the flappers.
Oh yeah.
The shape of the poo.
What a cool place to find fox. Oh, imagine camera trapping in here.
I wonder how they get in. There must be some. There's a hole there, but that's not big enough.
This looks like a Call of Duty map. Check this out. This is properly decomposing.
What would this have been then? This would have been the workbench. Oh, they've still got the vice.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's a bit squeaky now, but it works. Got the saw. This is an antique. Look how the spider webs have just completely overtaken it as well.
Put your hand under it. Let's see if it works.
I'm not putting my hand in there.
No?
That is a health and safety hazard.
Oh,
Ooh, look at this, Dan. You're not going to like this. You're not going to like this at all.
What is it?
Check this out. We've got a spider, a huge spider. This is a house spider. And it explains all the webs around here. Hello, Mr. Spider.
Oh, God. Look at those fangs.
Stop, don't say that.
Go on.
So, House spiders, right, part of the funnel web family, which explains why we're seeing all these funnels in the spider webs.
That's made by that guy,
So,
is it? And what, and they just sort of wait on one side for things to walk across
wait
it?
on it, yeah. And I mean, in here, I guess you'll get a lot of flies, a lot of moths. It's a pretty ideal habitat. If you're going to hold it,
Nope.
come here.
No, thank you.
Come here.
Oh, check this machine out, mate.
Pretty. Don't change the subject.
It's real,
Come here.
real nice machine over here.
It's just chilling now. It's got really hairy feet.
Those aren't its fangs, are they? Those are like pedipalps.
No,
those
they're the
front
pedipalps,
things.
but it has
okay,
got,
good.
it's got
Because if
fangs
those were
under
the
there.
fangs, it wouldn't be coming anywhere near me.
Alright.
Now look at it, it knows, it knows, it knows. Look, it knows.
It knows.
It's all right with you, but it knows.
Hold it, there we go.
So those pedipalps, those just like help it eat, right?
Yeah, yeah. There we go.
Oh, I can see the fangs and I don't like it. They don't jump, do they?
No.
That is, I mean, it is beautiful. Okay, we can take him off now. There we go. Back to your horrible little home where you kill things. There you go. Oh, there you go, mate. It's your web. That's your home. Go kill something.
He was quite friendly, really. Let's see if we can find a bigger one.
Yeah,
now.
let's get the hell out of this room.
I like that.
Hey, look at this. Do you know what this is?
Oh, that's one of the oxygen things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would have had another section on top of here.
Yeah.
And every miner would have one of these, and there'd be a cap here. And if something went wrong in the mine, he'd put his mouth against it, and it would give him 30 minutes of oxygen to try and find his way out. The worst part was, though, that because the chemical reaction that made the oxygen was so hot, when they needed to use it for the half an hour, it would burn their tin and give them horrible blisters.
That's so scary. Imagine being in that situation.
I know. Oh God.
Terrifying. 30 minutes of oxygen.
Makes your skin crawl, doesn't it?
Wherever we look, there are clues about the past. But the time capsule that is now Chatterley Whitfield is actually much bigger than it seems from the inside. The 20 hectares surrounding it all used to be part of the colliery. There was a railway here, and this hill was a slag heap made up of all the waste from the coal mine. It was once said to be the tallest man-made structure in Europe. It's now been rewilded, and this long grass here makes for a perfect hunting ground.
We just saw a kestrel fly over and land on this little building up here. And it looks like it's probably a male because it's got a silvery head. Habitat here is really good for these guys because as a brownfield site, this has pretty poor nutrient soils, which is really good for grasses because that poor nutrients means that it's hard for dominant species to take hold. And those diverse grasslands attract diverse insects and invertebrates, which in turn attracts small mammals as well. And this guy is probably hovering around, searching for those during the day, and now he's just come in to roost. I used to be a falconer, and the reason I became one is because when I was a real young kid, I read a book about a boy who finds a kestrel in an old abandoned building. And it kind of set me on the course of becoming a falconer. So it's nice to see one here in an abandoned building, just like that.
There's a branch there. Right. It's stakeout time. And we're looking for badgers, and I've really got my fingers crossed that we're going to see one. I mean, they do come out at night because that's the time when they come out to forage and find food. So badgers will eat things like worms. I mean, they eat a lot of worms. They can eat hundreds in a night. Small mammals, fruit, vegetation. They're really not fussy. I really want to see something cool so I can rub it in Dan's face because he's probably watching barn owls right now as we speak.
Where are you, little owl? Just scanning these broken windows, looking for our beautiful barn owl friend. He's not come out yet, but apparently this is around about the time he likes to come out. I have always loved owls because of their fantastic hearing and the way that when they fly, it's completely silent, so they cause no disturbance and make no sound to give them the best chance of catching prey. And that's actually because of an incredible adaptation on their feathers. Their feathers curl in at the edges, which creates a kind of serrated wind tunnel that stops the wind from making that really loud sound. But it has a problem as well, which is another reason why they love places like this, because barn owls and all owls that have the same curled in feather structure get really, really wet when it rains and get really waterlogged. So they love buildings where they get complete and total protection from the rain. So places like this, these old abandoned buildings, are actually completely perfect habitat for owls. You'd never think it. It was amazing. I just saw a flash of white in there. Keep our eyes peeled. I think you're in there somewhere, aren't you, Mr. Owl? Where are you?
An owl has just flown over and landed literally right in the tree above us. You can make out his warm body. So this is a tawny owl. Oh my god, there's another one over there. So this is a tawny owl, and we can tell it's a male from the call it's making. I can't believe it. He is so close. You can still hear the male and female calling to each other. So that much raspier male call that we could hear behind could possibly be a juvenile. It takes them a little while to get that vocal call nailed down and sorted properly. So something else just flew in. I think we've got two in the tree now. We are surrounded by tawny owls. This is absolutely incredible. But what is interesting is that it could be the juvenile of these adults, because this is around about the time of year where they will start pushing them out. Because these are territorial birds, they will be calling at this to communicate, so to pair up, but also to tell each other that this is my territory. But I really love how you can so easily hear the difference between that female and that male. Perfect timing. Right. I think they've just left now. And it's probably time for us to do so too. Time is getting on a little bit. Unfortunately, we didn't see any badgers. It was a bit of a long shot anyway. But I think it's hard to argue that we didn't have an absolutely amazing time. I don't think I've ever been this close to a group of wild tawny owls. It was literally just sat in that tree right above us.
Got him. Just about to give up. We're literally about to leave. Yes! Oh, God, it's so amazing. So it's like when it turns to one side, it's kind of ghostly and you can barely see it, and then it twists its head and looks right at us, and those giant, great big like heart-shaped face and those black eyes. Because it's so ghostly and white, and it has those kind of really deep-set, dark, forward-facing eyes. It's been known to be called the ghost owl, or even the death owl. I can't believe how lucky we are. God, we've been waiting here for hours. We came up here, saw a little kestrel friend, hoping to see this guy. Nothing. And then there was a flash, just a kind of like the wings had obviously come up as he was going into this building, and then disappeared, and we sat here for hours waiting for this moment. But obviously, as we're getting a bit tired now, it's getting a little bit dark. This one's just waking up. That's like, oh wow, just flown off. Females are slightly larger. Wow, look at that flying around. Where have you gone? Oh my god, you're coming back, aren't you? You're coming back. Really, really cool. And the shape of that face is really helpful for angling the sound. Oh, it's just flown down again. Angling the sound into the direction of the owl's face and going into those asymmetrically organised ears, so it can perfectly pinpoint where that prey item is and then take it with that silent flight caused by those serrated, turned-in feathers at the side. Terrifying if you're that big, but beautiful for us.
After being so lucky with all these owls, I can't wait to see what our camera traps have picked up.
Feeling lucky?
I am actually. I feel like we've had a fair bit of success in the day, so I'll find out if we've got anything at night. So this is the badger set.
Okay.
And here we go. We've got
Oh, it's rabbit.
rabbit. Lovely eye shine on it though. Yeah, so you can see that's the badger set.
Oh my God, look at the mouse.
Oh, my God.
Oh, there's a rabbit again. Where are these traps?
These traps are down by the Hesketh mine shaft.
Oh. Oh, there's loads of rabbits. Oh, he's seen something.
It's cute. You've seen something.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's a
Look at that,
fox.
It's a fox.
Yes. That's probably what he was scared of. Oh, he's got something.
Oh
What's
my
he
God,
got?
What have you got? Let's go back.
Is it a rabbit? I think it might be a
I think
rabbit.
It might be a rabbit. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
in the day. Look, it's so weird seeing all the derelict buildings
it
and.
is. Oh,
Oh,
lovely.
is he having a pee?
There
There you go, mate. Marking your territory. Badger!
We got a badger!
Yes! Oh my
Yes.
God!
Wow.
I can't believe there are badgers in there as well.
That was good.
This
to
place
see.
is like thriving. There's
was
so much in here. How does
Was that inside a building, that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Was it inside here? It looked like it was in here.
Was that in this building?
I can't.
It is. It's right there.
Is it?
It's right
I
there.
thought I recognised that.
That is right there.
It's incredible. So
Oh
a
my God!
fox
Look,
came-
that's the fence.
Yeah.
See it? Oh my God! So he's running around in here.
That's
Do you
very
think
cool.
he's maybe to blame for some of these feathers? Can't believe there's foxes running around
And
inside.
badgers. I'm glad we got footage of badgers. We might not have caught it ourselves. We've got footage. So
Nice one. Oh mate,
Yeah.
what a good end to this place.
it's been great.
You'd never expect it, would you? Just how
No.
much can be here.
No.
And you'd never realise that a place like this is actually way more important than people probably even realise. Like, you'd never think that an abandoned old building could have so much wildlife inside. But it's completely run down and it feels like a complete lost place. But it's amazing to think just how important these places are for wildlife. People probably have no idea that this could harbour so many species.
It's brilliant to see how nature has kind of healed this place. I don't know where I am. The trouble is with being in a graveyard at night, among all the other troubles, everywhere looks the same. I mean, this looks the same as we were 5 minutes ago. What was that?
For this investigation, we're exploring 52 acres of a forest that feels like paradise. But it wasn't actually ever meant to be a place for the living to enjoy.
Incredible. It's a little bit eerie. Like,
Yeah.
there are so many graves. Over 250,000 people are buried here, so there's so much history.
Seeing the names on all the graves is kind of odd, isn't it?
At the same time, so beautiful. I mean, look at that light.
We're looking for wildlife in Nunhead Cemetery. Once one of the biggest cemeteries in London, the gates were locked in 1969. Inside, time stood still.
Look at that one.
I know.
Bigger than my house. Have a look through there.
I feel like I'm that little boy from It, and Pennywise the Clown is about to ask me to come inside.
Nunhead first opened in 1840, meaning that some of these graves are nearly 200 years old.
But you can see how important it was to these people. People spent a lot of money on their wedding, but back then people spent a lot of money on their death.
But even though the dead were lying quiet, other creatures were stirring.
Oh, look at this little guy. Ooh, I'm walking through the spiders. No, thank you. Sorry, mate, you'll have to rebuild that web. This is a sycamore tree. These are incredibly fast growing, so there's so many of them here in Nunhead. As it became abandoned and people stopped really paying for burial so much after the First World War and even more so after the Second World War, the plants just took over. And one of those main ones is the sycamore, just because it's such a fast growing species. Should we see if we can find some of those parrots, those parakeets? If we can find the parakeets, we might be able to find some of their nest holes.
This place is absolutely spectacular. It's very overgrown, so you have to watch where you step. It's really interesting that we just have graves here in the middle of the woodlands. The nature's kind of just overgrown and slowly taken over. The ash trees, the sycamore, the bramble, the ivy, and since then it's just kind of been left to do its own thing. So it's kind of like accidental rewilding.
I think it's incredible how quickly it's happened. The whole of Nunhead is now both a burial ground and a nature reserve that's open to visitors. There are hundreds of species living amongst the graves, including more than 200 invertebrates, mammals such as voles, 3 species of bats, and 120 species of fungi, including one of the spookiest, dead man's fingers.
You can see here how they're just shooting out of the ground. So they like to grow on broadleaf dead wood. So species like beech trees are perfect for these guys that just sort of find their way in the undergrowth. And one of the things I love about an area like this is that it's so undisturbed. You can really see how all these species are interlinked. You can see the whole life cycles. So a fungi species like this one will come in and soften the wood, and then you get things like invertebrates coming in and breaking down that organic matter further. But I just love things like this. You can so easily just walk past and never even set your eyes on them. But as creepy and as weird looking as they are, they're so important to the environment.
Right, we are off in search of birds. We're hearing them a lot, but seeing them is another thing. They fly overhead, but actually don't sit down for too long. Okay. Let's get that MD down. Just got ourselves a ring-necked parakeet by what looks like its nest hole. And I'm pretty sure that this is a female, because even though they're called ring-necked parakeets, it's actually the males that have that ring neck. No one knows exactly where all of these parakeets in London originated from. Some people say that it was an escape from a movie set in the 50s. Some people say it was musicians that released them. But these guys are fantastic escape artists. And being incredibly popular pets from the Victorian times, it's likely that they just found their way out of their cages many, many times over many, many years and found each other out in the wild and created this population that we're filming right now in the middle of a cemetery in London.
Just as I was packing up to find Yussef, I spot something I've been really hoping to see.
Okay, I think there is something up there. That is a great spotted woodpecker. Oh, look at him go. That's a female. The males have the red there. The young ones have the red crown, and then that rufous bit. Females lose it and have the darker head. She's a bit in the dark, but every time she comes round, the light hits her and you see that beautiful black and white and that lovely red underside. She's really going for it. She's looking for grubs in that branch up there. She's got this incredibly specialised skull and beak. It's incredibly sharp, but her skull is what I think is the most amazing part. Because most birds, if they were smacking their head against branches like that, they'd surely get brain damage. But greater spotted woodpeckers have this shock absorbent skull that allows her to keep hitting that branch and pull out all those grubs with no problems at all. So lucky that we were able to see them. You occasionally hear that drumming sound, the classic drumming sound, which they use as a territorial display often.
Less lucky, in my opinion, is the next place we get to explore. The ruined Anglican chapel stood at the heart of Nunhead for 100 years, surviving the bombings of World War II, only to get burnt down by arson in the 70s. But there's one section that remains untouched: the crypt.
Oh my God, it's huge.
Oh,
And it's cold.
it's really cold.
It's creepy, isn't it? Look at this. So this crypt is where all of the most expensive burials in the entire place was. So the really richest people, consider that right, 282,000 people are buried in this cemetery, and these are all the most expensive burials. So there's some really important people from history in here.
So creepy. I wonder if there's any wildlife in it though.
I feel like
There's got to be something, right?
Oh, that is so horrible. That is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going near it. No, I'm not playing with that. No, I can't do it. I can't watch it. I can't watch it.
I'm going to touch your leg. Oh, please don't. Oh, my God. Okay.
You're supposed to be bug face.
I know.
What are you doing?
It's because you're freaking me out. Right, I'm
I'm literally sweating bullets right now. Look at it. That is spectacular. It's going to bite you.
There we go. Don't say that. Beautiful.
Oh my God, that is
Oh my God, okay, this is
so intense.
beautiful. So they're not actually super rare, but because they only tend to live in dark, damp locations, we don't really see them very often. So places like caves, hence the name, also sewers, and apparently crypts.
Really cool.
Okay, I'm gonna make you hold him.
Because you brought me in here, so you're definitely holding
Literally,
this.
I would rather die.
Oh,
I'd rather
well,
die.
that can be arranged. It's actually very beautiful.
Is it? Okay. No, okay. You know what? Face your fears.
Face your fears.
I can do this.
Okay.
I can
You
do
ready?
this.
Yeah. All right, love. Yeah. You ready?
No, I'm not really.
There you go. See?
Oh my god, I hate it. I feel like it's gonna bite me. It looks
Oh
angry.
wait, it's about to bite you.
Don't even say that.
No, it has got its fangs out.
No, it doesn't.
Also, I lied. These are like massively venomous.
Dude, honestly, I'm freaking out. I don't like it. It looks
Cool.
so angry.
I'll
It
see you
looks
later
so
then,
angry.
yeah?
I'm
Yeah.
sweating. I'm so.
See you later, mate.
Oh, you. Ah! Stop it. Stop it. We're not friends. Right, Yussef, look at this. Apparently, these are the sweetest blackberries in all of London. So these are fertilised by our ancestors.
So let me guess. You want me to eat this, don't
Yeah.
you?
Go on. Is it good?
Not
Is it
terrible.
nice?
It's quite. Did you not
Why
get
do
a good?
I always get the rotten ones?
Mine was quite nice.
Come on, man. Right, look at
No, this is mine.
For God's sake. Right, I'm going to find myself a big one.
Actually, these are lovely.
Great. That's just great news, isn't it? So the day's coming to a close. We've seen some awesome stuff today. But there's some stuff we didn't get to see. And I think it's probably because there's dogs running around, there's people here, but the gates are closed at night. Those are the creepiest crows I've ever seen. They just flew in here because they knew we were here. They're like, oh, the doors are locked. They're screwed. We'll be pecking their eyes out by morning.
The spookiest species of bird, and it's out. I don't know why they have to have angel statues and not like cute bunny rabbits. Why do they have creepy women?
Cute bunny rabbits.
That wouldn't be scary. I can deal with those.
And John Allen's grave from earlier.
What's that?
doesn't
What
look
have you
as
got in your
good.
hand? I didn't
how
realise that
bright
was
it is.
Florence Nightingale.
Hey, you know her second in command is actually buried here.
No, I didn't. but
Look
of
at
course
that.
you know.
That might not seem bright right now, but that is going to keep us alive.
I'm going to be honest, that lamp isn't making me feel any better about our chances of survival. We've got special access to film here tonight after closing time, but as the light begins to fade, I get the feeling that we're not alone.
I think I can see something.
Oh, it's not a ghost, is it?
It's moving. It's a fox. It's a fox. Yeah, it's definitely a fox.
I think it's gone in.
No, it's not. It's still there.
The more I stare at it, the more and more it's looking like a post. It's not moving.
I'm going to ignore Yussef and head deeper into the forest to take a closer look.
This is horrid, isn't it? Check this out. Oh my god! Nah, mate. That was horrible. Everything is so much scarier at night. Just walked through a spider's web. This has got to be the worst lamp I've ever seen.
Okay, so we're out looking for bats, and bats are pretty difficult animals to identify by sight, particularly at night, because obviously it's dark, and bats being nocturnal, you know, that's when they like to come out, which is pretty inconsiderate of them. But luckily, we've got this nifty piece of kit that can detect bats not by sight, but by sound. And bats, of course, use echolocation, so they will shoot out this high-pitched frequency call that will bounce off an object, hopefully a prey species, and bounce back to them. They'll pick it up with those super sensitive ears, and they'll be able to tell the size and the distance of the prey item. It's getting dark pretty rapidly now. There we go. Can you hear that? So there we go. So that's a pipistrel. Most likely a common pipistrel, because we've got it at about 45 kilohertz. That was awesome. And they're of course out hunting at night, so a great food source for bats are the moths, and there's plenty of moths around here. That's incredible. It's amazing how we're not able to hear that with our human ears. There's just this entire different world on a different wavelength of sound.
So this here is a fleur. It's typically used by police. We've just spotted a fox running up here, and this is the best way of figuring out which direction he's going in. God, it's kind of spooky, isn't it, thinking that we're the only people here. You see something? Oh, that was horrible. You see him? Whereabouts? Oh yeah, oh my God, you see that eye shine? Oh no, it's a cat. That was a cat. It's not exactly the wildlife we were looking for. To be fair though, we're getting quite a lot of predatory mammals tonight.
Whoa, it's quick. So we're literally just walking along the path here with our light on, and we came across this devil's coach horse beetle. Now this is a large species of rove beetle. It tends to live around decaying plant matter, so places like this are amazing for it because it's a ferocious predator, so that's where it likes to hunt all of its invertebrates. It's very quick. It's also got a couple of defense mechanisms and threat displays. So it can raise up its abdomen, a bit like a scorpion, does a scorpion-like pose, and that's to intimidate its predators. It also, if it needs to, can spray out a foul-smelling liquid out of its abdomen. And finally, it can also deliver quite a painful bite. There it goes. Speedy little fella.
I have no idea where we are. And I haven't been looking out for where we are either, because I've been so busy looking for a fox. It's amazing that this place is exactly an example of what happens when nature takes things back. The groves have all moved, and the trees have kind of twisted and turned them. It's kind of an example of what could happen to certain places if we rewild it. You know, if you give it a chance, nature really does come back. Right in my frame. He's looking right at me. Look at those huge ears. Oh my Lord, this is so amazing. Wow, look at him. They've got his full face. That is an absolute fox. So these foxes here, they're really interesting because in London, unlike their rural counterparts, these foxes have actually started to change. Their noses are getting a bit shorter to adapt to their more urban lifestyles of scavenging.
And that's not all. Their skulls are actually changing shape in a way that could mean their brains are getting smaller. This is similar to the changes dogs went through when they became domesticated.
Such an amazing response to being around people. But that was amazing. That was amazing. And to see him on the night vision camera with the graves around as well. That was awesome. Should we take a sit down?
We do need to find Dan now, but I honestly am quite lost. I don't know where I am. The trouble is with being in a graveyard at night, among all the other troubles, is that everywhere looks the same. I mean, this looks the same as we were 5 minutes ago. Where is he? He just trod on the stick that scared the life out of me. I thought that was a ghost. It's just a headless angel, that's fine. Totally fine. It's a headless angel in a graveyard. That's exactly what I want to see. So it is totally different being here at night than in the day, obviously. I mean, I thought the daytime was creepy enough. Turns out nighttime, hell of a lot creepier. But for me, it's the sounds of the birds flapping their wings, or an unexpected twig breaking under Russell, the cameraman's foot, or anything really. It's the things that make you jump. But okay, did you hear that? No, this is starting to feel a bit terrifying. Which way? I don't even know where the path is anymore. Let's go this way. What was that? Something is definitely messing with us.
Target acquired. The target is acquired. He's mine.
Oh my God. What? I mean, that would have been scary if you didn't make loads of noise running through all the bushes, but
That was a lot of fun.
it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. But I'm so surprised. What a wicked place.
I know. I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
terrified, but yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Very cool.
Do you know what? I think it's time we got the hell out of this place.
Shall we go?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. Cool.
Do you know the way out?
No, I don't know the way out.
Are you all right?
Ah, they've come to get me. Right, okay.
Where?
Let's go.
As we make our way out, all I can think about is that it's amazing that a place like this exists at all. Bombed, abandoned, burnt, but still standing. In the short time we've been here, it's become really obvious to me that this is no longer just a sanctuary for the dead, but one for all the animals that now call it home. A secret, wild corner of London, hidden in plain sight.